What's up guys, it's Light Spiral here with another top 5 video on this channel. I think this is actually the 5th one that I've made, and this one in particular is the top 5 water monsters in Summoner's War, and this is all in my opinion. So if you're looking for the hard stats of the best 5-star or the best water monsters, or the community's opinion or whatever, this is all influenced by me. I haven't asked a single other person. I haven't had anything to influence me other than my own thoughts for who is the top 5 water monsters in my opinion. And the other thing I want to say is that I didn't include the natural 5-star monsters in this video because I feel like that would make it so the only monsters, all the honorable mentions, all the top 5, they would all be like 5-star monsters, and not too many people get their hands on a bunch of 5-star monsters, especially not the free-to-play players. Now, with that said, I have the first honorable mention here is Lapis. And note I have 3 honorable mentions, all 3 of them in random order. And so Lapis is the first one I have here. Now, I think she can be a really good crowd control monster if you ruin her like Despair Focus or Despair Revenge. But the only problem with her is that her speed is, in my opinion, too low to do a really good crowd control. And that's just my opinion, though. And moving on now, I have Orion as one of the honorable mentions, and in my opinion, the reason he's as far down as he is because of how random he is. His third skill makes it so he attacks random enemies, which removes their buffs and puts on random debuffs. I believe it's random debuffs. It might be a specific one, but I don't like the random enemy attack. I like it to be like AoE or whatever, single target. I don't like this whole random factor to it. Now, and Shay I have as the last honorable mention, and this is really like controversial, I guess you could say, and a lot of people don't think Shay is that good of a monster, and I personally think he is a really good monster in DB10 or even like GB9, GB10, and that's just my opinion, but I think he's a good monster and he's farmable, and I thought I'd just put him in here as an honorable mention, not as the top 5. Now, getting into the actual top 5, 5th place, I have Galleon, the water pirate captain. Now, I think he's good in arena, more specifically arena offense, because he's pretty much reliant on having a monster go before him that does an AoE buff remover. So that means that they need to remove the invincibility and they need to remove the immunity before Galleon can go, because Galleon's useful for his third skill, which does an AoE defense break with a 100% chance. His second skill does a single target attack bar reset by 30%, and his first skill does a single target defense break. Now, he's really only, or in my opinion, he's best used for the AoE defense break, and then you just try and one-shot or two-shot a whole 4-side team. Now, going in to the 4th place spot, I have Chillings, and some people might say he should be higher, some might say he should be lower. I think he can be useful in Arena, Dragons, and debatably Necropolis, and basically what he does, his first skill does a triple attack, which has a 30% chance to decrease attack speed, but if you have 3 projectile shooting, then he gets 3 chances to do that 30%, and if you use Devilmons on him, I believe he gets a 60% chance, and his second skill does an AoE, like full ally, crit rate, and speed buff, which is pretty nice, and then his passive makes it so he transfers beneficial effects from the other enemy monsters to you. So, for example, he could transfer immunity from them to you, and his speed goes up with the amount of beneficial effects he has on him at the moment. Now, getting into the 3rd place spot, I have Konamiya. Now, some people might think it's weird that I have Konamiya in the top 3. Some people might know why I have Konamiya in the top 3, but that's because the best way I can think of him is he's kind of like the poor man's Viramos, and he has the first skill, single target stun. Second skill, boost the attack gauge and attack power of ally monster for 1 turn. And third skill, an AoE cleanse and 15% heal. And part of the reason he's up here is because he can be useful in every single dungeon, in my opinion. In Arena, he's not quite as good. He can be used in TOA. And so, also another thing is, since he's in Nat 2, he can be really easy to max skill, and I just think he's a good overall monster, especially if you run him with a lot of speed, and that's my opinion though. So, now going into the third place spot, or second place spot, I mean. This might be kind of weird saying a Nat 2 and then a Nat 3 in the 3 and 2 spots, but I have Megan in the second place spot for best water monsters. And once again, this might be really controversial. It's like, why aren't all these Nat 4s in here? Why is it a Nat 3? But she can be really useful in Arena and in Dragons, in my opinion. And I mean, like, really useful, at least in my opinion. In Arena, she has an all-ally attack buff by 20% or something like that. Her first skill does dots and hits pretty hard. Her second skill removes beneficial effects from the target and blocks them from getting beneficial effects for one turn. And her third skill increases attack gauge, increases attack power and defense for 2 turns for all ally monsters. So I think she's really helpful for Dragons and Arena, in my opinion. And for the first place spot as the best water monster in the game, in my opinion, not including natural 5 stars, I had to put Tyrone in here. Now, Tyrone, his first skill doesn't do much. Like, it could hit hard if you ruined him like that. His second skill, AoE glancing hits. Third skill, AoE freeze. So a really good crowd control mon, especially on Despair runes. Now, he can be used for TOA. He can be used for Arena, and in terms of dungeons, he could be used in all dungeons, but he's not really great for the boss fights. He's good for, like, getting to the boss fights. He's not really all that beneficial in boss fights, in my opinion. And that really wraps up what I have to say about Tyrone. Oh, and he has a leader skill that increases attack speed by 19%, and that's good because it does it in everything. To all attributes and all everything, and that wraps off the top 5. Now I know this was a pretty controversial list, honestly, but what I feel about water monsters is, with Tyrone being the number 1 in my opinion, Tyrone isn't nearly the caliber of, like, the number 1 fire or the number 1 wind monster or light and dark. I haven't looked into that much, but water doesn't have any, like, superstar monsters, in my opinion, in terms of Nat 4s and lower, but it has a lot of really solid, good for one kind of thing monsters, which aren't really my favorite kind of monsters. Like, what you might have seen in the fire video is, like, Verda in the first spot. Now, Verda can be used literally every single fight you do. You could put Verda in and he would do good. Whereas, like, a lot of these water monsters, if you take, say, Tyrone into Giants B10, not only is he, like, kind of too squishy to do Giants B10 in my opinion, but he's not going to do much against the Giant. If you take Megan into TOA, she's not going to do much. If you take Konomiya, can probably do about anything, but that's about it. And that's really all I have to say about these top 5 monsters. If you agree with or disagree with anything said in this video, please be sure to tell me in the comments, as well as be sure to tell me anything I could do to improve these top 5 videos. But that's really all I have for today, though, guys. Some of the best here today's. Be the worst of tomorrow's.